I've been putting this off for ages. It's time to set up my Kona with tubeless tyres. I've decided to do it myself because I should be able to do it. First things first, I think I'll start with the front wheel just because it's easier. I found a video which I'm going to reference. Who was it now? It's a WTB one, I think, showing the whole process, and that was about the best one I could find, so I'm going to follow that to the letter. So my WTB Riddler. The Riddlers are coming off. As much as I love these tyres, they're not as well suited to the road as the tyres I'm going to replace them with. Tubes, don't want them. I mean, I haven't had a puncture so far on this, so obviously tubes do work, but based on my experience on the GDMBR, tubeless is magic. I didn't have one single flat. I probably had multiple punctures, but not one single flat on the GDMBR, and that's 3,000 miles approximately off-road. Tubeless is the way to go. There we are. So, according to the WTB video, this is unnecessary. So I'm just going to take that out. Then you've got this solid strip here, and the suggestion is to take this out and then clean the whole rim and make sure it's clean, yeah, behind the solid strip. So I'm going to do that. I've got some alcohol. I'm going to clean it all out, clean the outside, and do this properly. So I have isopropyl alcohol. He used brake cleaner. I'm hoping this stuff is good enough, and I haven't got brake cleaner, so it's going to have to be. This is the key thing, I think, is to get all this clean. Oh. Okay. That's just dissolving in there, so I need a proper cloth. It's my first error, so I got one of these sort of kitchen cloths. Let's try again. I'll take my time anyway. I rush everything all the time and then wonder why it doesn't work or doesn't go well. This time I'm going to try and do everything right, and then should I fail and have to take it to a proper competent bike mechanic, at least I won't feel like a total muppet, just a partial muppet. Looks nice and clean. I'm going to do the outside the rim as well, and then we put the solid strip back in. Find the valve hole that can sit there, ping it back in. Easier said than done. That's the technique. Got it. Phase 1 complete. So I have a 23mm rim. They recommend to go 5mm over, just so you seat the bead of the tyre on the tape itself and not the rim. So I've got the perfect tape. Now to do the scary part, I think. So you'll notice here I'm in slow motion. I'm still getting used to my new camera, and I'm not quite there yet, so I don't know how this happened, but it doesn't matter. So I'm doing a voiceover. Did you see that bee fly across? So I'm here taping the rim, and it took me a little while to get it started because the tape itself is not very tacky. But I do manage to get it there eventually. And then you've got to pull quite tight whilst you lay it in. Unfortunately, I didn't do it tight enough. You can see all these bubbles. And although I think it would work, I wasn't happy. So yeah, you can see there. So that was my first attempt. I decided to rip it all off and start again. Luckily, I factored this in when I bought the rim tape, made sure I had enough. Sort of didn't want to let go there, did it? So second attempt, I pulled much harder than I thought I needed to, and it worked really well. There was no bubbles. Everything looked good. I overlap the tape probably 6 inches, something like that. So next job is to install these valves, and thankfully the camera was back in the right mode for this. I've bought these valves, WTB Max Flow tubeless valves. Saw some reviews, and I've cut with a nice sharp Stanley blade a hole through the rim tape so we can install them. And I think the process is to just poke it through. So let's see what happens. There's the valve. And there we go. Progress feels like it's going well. So I've gone with Schwalbe, I don't know. Marathon All Motion 700 by 38C Evo Race Guard Microskin TLE. They do two. There's a race guard and a V guard. The V guard is designed for tubes, but I was sent the wrong ones and had to send them back. And he told me that the V guard ones are tubeless compatible, but they're not. These ones are tubeless compatible. I went with these because a lot of people recommended them, to be honest. The Schwalbe are supposed to be really good, nice and strong, tough tyres, and this is the only tubeless option for this rim size, I think, and this type of terrain. So it's got a bit of tread to it, but mainly road focused, which is what I wanted. So now I've got to get this on the rim. Last time I did this with Schwalbe tyres, it went really well. Let's see what happens this time. Right, one on. So you've got to get the rest of the tyre on and just leave a little pocket down at the valve end to pour the sealant in. Now let's see how this goes. These can be tight sometimes. I mean, that's most of it on. Now I have that little pocket, but I think I'll try and get it as small as possible. So I'm going to have a problem, I can see. This tyre is so tight. I'm not going to be able to get it on when it's full of sealant without making a massive mess. I think I'm going to get the tyre on and then fill the sealant through the valve core. I've just done some research, and I don't know. Some people say you shouldn't. Some say you should. I don't care. It's what I'm going to do. But first of all, I want to try and get this tyre on without ruining the tape. That's hard enough. Wish me luck. Okay, I changed my mind. I managed to get the tyre on. It looks like I should be able to get it on by hand next time. I don't want to use these tyre levers because I don't want to tear the tape. But I've opened up a little gap here, so I've undone it again. I'm going to pour the sealant in, rotate the tyre so the sealant all goes to the bottom, and then force this back on. So I need to measure out the sealant. Now, this is the one I've gone with. Joe's, no flats. So I need to work out how much to put in there. I'm going to put 60 in. There's 500ml in there, so that's not a lot really, is it? How do I know how to measure out 60ml? It's the best I could come up with. This is 30ml. I reckon I should be able to pour it in. I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking disaster. And so am I. Now, try and rotate this nice and slowly. That is now all at the bottom. See if I can get this tyre on the rim. Yes. Now I have a device for high pressure inflation, but I don't know if I need it. I'm going to try doing it with the normal bike pump. See what happens. That's at 5 bar. I can hear some hissing. I don't know. I mean, there's a bit of leaking coming from this valve stem, but that's stopped now. I mean, it would. I mean, that's going to happen, isn't it? I'm just concerned as to whether it's seated or not. I think it is. Oh well, let's see. I'll leave it for a while, see what happens. So it stopped leaking at the valve, and I've just been sort of spinning it around. I have no idea. I think the best thing is to leave it. I'm going to go and make a drink. So I put the tyre back on, the wheel. It seems to be holding air. We'll have to see. Maybe a couple of days, see what happens, give it a test ride as well. Now I've got to do the back wheel though. So I'm going to do that next. And I shall show you when it's all done. So there we go. Predictably, this one took a lot less time. About half an hour, I'd say, from start to finish. I found it pretty straightforward. For something I was so, I don't want to say nervous, apprehensive maybe, about doing, it wasn't that bad. Now, this isn't an instructional video. And I will link below the WTB video which I followed to do this because it seemed to be very good. I think it's more people who know this channel, they know me, they know I'm a novice, they know I've never done these things before. I think it's just reassurance that, you know, if I can do it, then if you take your time, then anyone can do it. So it's more along those lines. I thought you might be interested. Now, I'm going to put these tyres on, give it a couple of days. So the caveat is if it all goes wrong and I come back to the bike and there's sealant all over the floor and the tyres are flat, I will let you know. I'll be honest about it. But the next thing to do is to put mud guards on the front rack and the new cassette. So I got a new cassette which is going to help with the gearing, lower it basically. So this is a bit of a compilation video. Hopefully you'll see me very soon reporting that the tyres were all good and watching me get this bike prepared for the TransAm. Okay, the tyres still feel good. It's the next day, by the way. So that's a good sign. Today I'm going to tackle the rear cassette. This comes with an 11 to 36, but I would like lower gears for hills on the TransAm. I've had lots of recommendations to get this, an 11 to 42 tooth rear cassette. I've been out and bought one of these this morning, a chain whip, which you need, and I have a torque wrench. The rear locking ring needs to be tightened to 40 Newton meters, so I read, and I've got the tool for that here, which slots in, so I should have everything I need. I hope so. I need this bike tomorrow, so if I mess everything up, it's going to be a problem. How confident are you that I'm going to get this right? I'm going to give myself an 80% chance. I think I need this. Make sure it fits. It does. Let's see. How would this make sense? Right, I need to stop it turning that way. That'll work. Yeah, there we go. Let's try that. Don't laugh. Yeah, there we go. Oh, bloody hell. Oh my God. Oh, this is this is just not working. I'm bending this. Right. So, I broke this, and now sort of detachable, and I'm using an Allen key to hold it in place. But that was way more tight than I thought it would be. Maybe it was over tightened, I don't know. There. Right, so I'm going to clean up and then try and get the other one on. Guess that just goes on. Ah, there's a little one. This. Onto that. Please fit. Great. Now these two. There. Okay, right, let's get this to 40 Newton meters. Can't hear whether this is the torque wrench clicking. Yeah. Right, I reckon that's done. It didn't feel like 40 Newton meters, mine, it's not that strong. Anyway, there we go. That was pretty simple. I think I'm going to put the wheel back in and then give it a test. I'm happy with that. Might as well put these mudguards back on. Mudguards. Sounded like a New Yorker. Gotta put these mudguards back on. Sorry, New Yorkers. Don't moider me. I can't for the life of me remember how these went on. I believe I took pictures when I took them off. And I've got the video of me taking them off. Hopefully the information's in there. So it's all back together. The mudguards are all back on. Now I have an issue with the jockey wheel here hitting the cassette on the highest gear. Now I've just been looking at some videos and I think I've got to adjust something called a B screw. So more learning, it's all fine. I just hope it can be adjusted enough. I suspect it can because this is quite a modern derailleur and it's also a GRX derailleur, which is for gravel bikes, and they're usually won by drivetrains, so I'm guessing they're used to having this size rear cassette. I hope so anyway, otherwise I've got to put the other one on. So at the moment I've got no gap at all, so I need to adjust this B screw to get a 5 to 6 millimeter gap. I think this is the B screw. I'm going to start adjusting it and see what happens. That's moving. So I've been fiddling about. I think I've got the B screw dialed in and the limit screws. I think there's some fine tuning to be done with the indexing. But I'm going to stop for today. I think I've got far enough to be happy. And I just need to do a bit of tweaking, but let's give it a quick check. So that's in the smallest gear. I don't know. I think the indexing is wrong. But I think it's good enough that I know it's going to work, which is a good thing. So I think I'll, leave it for today, and then I'm going to fiddle about with the indexing tomorrow. I've got to take this on a decent ride tomorrow, and I don't want to make it any worse. So that's that. Mudguards on, tyres done, new cassette done. I think that's it. I think the bike is pretty much done. I'm going to change the pads before I go, and obviously I've got to set up the bags and decide on all that and put the front rack back on. But I'm quite pleased with my progress. Front rack is on. Front mudguard is on. Last job I'm going to tackle is new pads. The rear ones are low, the front are okay. I've never done it on this, so I thought I may as well film it. I don't know, you might find it interesting, or you might not. These are unusual because they're mechanical lines and hydraulic calipers. They work really well. I have to say, this is nice and easy. Yeah, I'm really impressed with these, and I like the idea of having mechanical cables. They're probably more durable. And these are great brakes. Yeah. Dead simple. simple. So, next step. I'm going to put the bags on and then figure out how I'm going to pack everything. I've done it once already, but there's a few changes. I'm not going to go into too much detail as I do this, because I can link the gearless video in the description and I'll just show you the changes. But yeah, I just want to make sure everything does fit on, and there's a couple of additions, like I have this half frame bag. Because I put this rack on now, I have the capability to put a dry bag underneath. Not that I'm certain I'll need it, but things have changed, that's why I've got to do it again. So first off, of course, my tail fin. Put that on. There we go. I've got some panniers. So these are the 10-litre ones. I also considered maybe putting the 16-litre ones. They've got new ones out on the back. Putting the 10-litre ones on the front. But I don't know. I've still got time. We'll see how we get on with this. This is another reason for doing like a test load, if you like. Anyway, that's all the bags on. Let's start with the gear. Right, start with the big items. Got my foam pad, which goes under my sleeping pad. And my tent. I will put more in there, but let's do the quilt. I know that goes in here. Maybe if I put my puffy jacket in there too. I mean, I could get more in there, but I might not need to. Let's just loosely cinch it down for now. And the other reason for this video is if I film this, then I can just watch this video when I load up. Decided to bring this raincoat. It's a lot bigger and bulkier, but actually works. It's waterproof. I'd like it so it's easily accessible, really. I'll put that in one of the front panniers here, one of these. If I need it quickly, I'll be able to get it out. So that's my Arc'teryx something Gore-Tex jacket and outdoor research helium pants. There's room in there for more as well. So my sleeping pad, my X-Lite, buff and pillow. I'm putting these in this side, along with possibly my spare clothes. So I've got a spare pair of shorts, just lightweight shorts, spare pair of just underwear. I've ordered a long sleeve version of this because it's nice and bright, and I'm probably going to wear this on the busier roads. I'll show you later and towards the end of this video the clothes I'm going to wear for the ride, but that red t-shirt will be swapped out. Probably this, my micro fleece thing. I just like this. Usually when it's cold in the mornings I just put that on. These are my tights. On the coldest of nights I'll wear them, but probably not, to be honest. On the GDMBR I had leg warmers, but they were designed to be used with cycling padded shorts, bib shorts, and I'm not using them this time. Put this on. Taking two of these again, an insulated one and a normal one. I can't fit the third one in there because there's not enough room for the mud guard. There's plenty of water on this trip, so I'm told. I mean, it is on roads, so it's not like GDMBR when I have to carry lots of water every day. My cook setup, I've got a pot. I've got this stove. Let's put the pot in there. More clothing. Cap. Just an outdoor research. Thin lightweight cap and some socks. Spare pair of socks. And then this is a collapsible Osprey backpack. Really cool. Use that a lot on the GDMBR. Well, that one's definitely full. There's a little tiny bit of room in there. There's plenty of room in this, actually. Gloves. I don't tend to wear gloves, but maybe in there with the waterproofs. So this is the question. I got a stool, which you might have seen on a previous video, which I like because it's just dead simple. That's all you have to do. And it is comfortable. So I think most campsites are in towns, so there's probably places to sit, but I don't know. I think I'm going to take it. I think I am. It makes sense. It was super cheap. And if I decide that I don't want to or I'm not using it, I'll just put it in a hiker box and someone will use it. I'm sure they will. It won't go to waste. It wouldn't be worth sending it home. It'd cost more to send it back. So there's room to stick it on the front there. I'd have to cinch it down with some straps, but I can figure that out. So I have a tarp. This is another thing I'm not sure about. This is my Dutchware. It's like a hammock tarp really. It's quite big, but it's very compact. I just wonder whether I'm going to use a tarp. I don't know. I'm in two minds. Just jam that down the bottom. I mean, if it is raining, sometimes there's not a lot to do. You could be on a campsite, you know, I could find somewhere. I have no idea because I don't know really what sort of places I'm going to be camping. If there's trees about, then I'd pitch the hammock, put the tent underneath, get my stool out. I think I'll take it anyway, on the basis that it fits in there okay. In case you're wondering about this, why I haven't put anything in here, this is all filming equipment, everything in that bag. Aside from maybe a few little bits like some electronics and things like that. But that's mainly going to be filming equipment. And I learned from the last trip, if there's anything else in here I have to move to get at stuff, that gets on my nerves very quickly. There are some side pockets on this bag, which I'll put maybe a first aid kit or maybe this little pump. I've got to figure all that out because I've got now the smaller items, repair kits and stuff like that. And I've got a big bag there with spares and things in, which I do need to find a home for. It's going to be tight. It is going to be tight. So I've got some things to go on the bike now. I've got a spare tube. This is my plug thing for the tubeless tyres. It's a pretty cool thing. You just open it, turn it around, stab it in your tyre when you get a puncture. I'm going to take my Gerber multi-tool, tyre levers, this wolf tooth chain breaker thing, and I'm going to take my Crank Brothers M20 and a 4mm Allen key. So I'll fit all them in now. Probably in this little bag. It's just easily accessible tools, that is. Take a little bottle of sealant. I wonder if that'll go in there too. Yeah, just about. Let's see if we can figure this out then. So this is basically a first aid kit, a repair kit, everything like that. Little miscellaneous items. So I've just thrown all in one bag. And without that tarp, I could chuck that in there. Or should I just... I mean, I'm putting a bag in a bag, and I again. You know, like sewing kits, tenacious tape, zip ties, spare plugs for the tubeless tool, patches for the Tubelito, and repair patches for the sleeping pad, valve cores and valve core removal tool. That's my first aid kit. I'll put that there, along with my toothbrush and toothpaste. Chain lube, super glue. That's a bare line, I don't need that. Spare pads, spare spoke nipples, and I got to buy spokes. I bought spokes, but I haven't got them with me, so I'll put those in. So I mean, I could just throw everything in there like that loose. Will that annoy me? Probably. The first aid kit can go in the side pocket of this. No, it can't. There's no room anymore, so that'd need to go in there as well. Say, I've still got this issue with the tarp. I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see me using it. If I went back and did the GDMBR again, I'd use it because, you know, I was out in the woods all the time. But where are you going to hang a tarp? In a park or a campsite? So I think I'm going to keep my head torch, my pump, in one of these side pockets. They're not too bulky, so they're not going to get in the way. So my Garmin InReach, put that in definitely. So that's my satellite messenger, so I can call for help whenever I want by pressing the SOS button, which is behind this little rubber cover, so you don't do it by accident. I've got to reactivate this. There's a monthly subscription. I think it's essential. You don't ever want to need to use it, but it's nice to know you've got it. My Wahoo Element bolt, that goes on the bike. It's got a clip thing for it here. This can go in with the electronics. Toothbrush and toothpaste in this stem bag with my sunblock and bug spray, I reckon. So this is my new torch. Sorry about the angle. I've bought a Lezyne 1400 plus macro drive. I've given up on the Fenix. I just don't trust it. Just let me down And I doubt I'm going to use this much, but you have to have one, don't you? It's USB-C powered, which is important. Nice big battery, and it does work whilst it's being charged, which is useful. Now there is room in here as well, although I'm going to be taking more filming stuff this time. I should still have room for other bits, and of course I'm going to move and change and mess around with all this. This whole bag here is going to be for food, and there's still room in the back here. I'll tinker, I'll mess around with it, but I think that's a decent little setup. Let's just close it all off. It's not going to be too heavy, and I've said it before, but my motivation is not lightweight but efficiency. I just don't want to be carrying stuff I don't use. I think though, even this little preliminary test shows me that I don't need to be buying any bigger panniers. This is going to be perfectly fine. So, change of plan. I've put the tarp in. I've discovered I have a ton of room. I got one of these whole bags is free, and yeah, I've got loads of room. So yeah, why not? I mean, I'll take the tarp if I don't use it. It's only a lightweight thing. The other thing, so this is the dry bag. Just an Alp Kit 13 litre dry bag. So I was thinking, if I chuck some valet straps in, I could probably have it like strapped underneath there. So I'll take these, the spare straps. I'll throw them in. And that's it for the gear. Just put these in this bag with the spares. I like that. That's a nice solution. I am going to eat better on this trail, but you know, I'm in towns a lot more and I can get vegetables and fruit. God, am I going to? I give everyone permission to thrash me hard in the comments if I don't. Right, as for clothing, I'm going to go with this shirt. This is a Columbia Silver Ridge Light. Same type of shirt and make and everything as I used on the GDMBR. Although it's different material, it's more stretchy and a bit brighter. That one was grey. This one at least stands out a little bit, I think. It's the brightest one I could get. But I do love these shirts because you've got the collar so you can protect your neck from the sun and, you know, get lots of airflow. They got nice big vents on the back and you can roll the sleeves down to give you protection. So I'm going with this in conjunction with the red long sleeve Under Armour-y t-shirty type thin material, which is going to be more visible. Probably on the busier roads I'll wear that. I might end up wearing it more because I know it's the right thing to wear on a road tour. As much as I love this shirt, I wish they made it in a brighter colour, but they don't, so that's that. The shorts are just Fox mountain bike shorts. They're thin, they got vents, they've got zippy pockets, which is essential. For shoes, these probably, I mean, I've got the option. I could wear the mountain bike shoes I wore on the GDMBR, but they're very heavy, and when they're wet, they don't dry. I don't like waterproof shoes under any circumstances. These were fantastic. But on the GDMBR, I needed protection from banging my toes into rocks and all that stuff. During my training for that, I hit my little toe and broke that, so I learnt quickly that you need proper shoes for that. These are very vented, they're comfortable. If they get wet, they dry straight away. Enough grip for what I need, and bright orange actually, which helps. So yeah, that's the plan for the clothing. Helmet, I know it's a mountain bike helmet, but I like it, it's comfortable. So yeah, this helmet. Anything else? Showed you the gloves. No, that's it. So, one last thing I've got to do. I bought this, a little mirror to go on the bar end. It might help. I did have a lot of people tell me to get one of those Garmin radar things. And rightly or wrongly, I've decided not to. Knowing something's coming is all well and good, but it doesn't really tell you any more. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I just can't figure out why they'd be useful. So I'm going to put this mirror on. Another little job. What a strange video. This is just lots of little clips, I imagine. All about preparation. I hope it's interesting. Will be to anyone that's into bikepacking, I guess. Right, so I've got to take this plug out. I don't want to damage this in case that mirror doesn't work or fit. Okay. I know exactly what angle I want. And then just do that. Yeah. I'm hoping it helps. I mean, it should do. Well, it will, won't it? It's definitely not going to hurt. It was only cheap, about 9-10 quid, something like that. Yes, small, but yeah, anything's better than nothing, isn't it? So we'll see how I get on with it. So as far as I can tell, that's it for the bike. I think I'm ready to go. If I could beam this bike, Star Trek style, to Astoria and start riding today, I think it's all done. I've got a box coming, so I've ordered a box for it. I'm flying American Airlines, so I can get the bike on. I'm going to take 2 bags this time instead of just taking the one. It was too heavy and cumbersome. So yeah, I'm going to fly with 1 bag with all the gear in, and then the bike on its own, probably with the bags. My friend Ron Sushanek, who's also on the GDMBR at the moment, his neighbour Mike is going to pick me up from the airport. So I'm looking forward to that, especially because he's just hiked the Camino to Santiago. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. I can't imagine why he would. So I can have a chat to him about that on the journey. But how nice, because that part of the trip, the transfer from the airport to Astoria, is a tricky part of the journey. And I don't have to worry about that now. So I've booked into a motel. What are they? Motel 8. Is it Motel 8 or Motel 6? I can't remember. One of those cheap ones anyway. I don't need anything flash. So I've got 2 nights there. I get there late on the first day, so I won't be doing much then. But the following day gives me all day to get this loaded up and put back together. And then I head off. Anyway, enough rambling on. So I thought I'd better sign off this video. It's been a bit of a incoherent one, I'd say. But I've just been out on a test ride and everything seems to work. Even the little mirror seems to be doing okay. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but it's going to help. I wanted to thank everyone for all the comments left on the last video, giving me advice on the route and the bike to take. I've decided to take this bike, and I'm still undecided about the route. But I don't really need to decide until I get out there. The reason for taking this one is, and it could be the wrong reason. Well, the first reason is right, and that's because most of it is going to be on road, and it's still the better bike for that. But also, I've done a long tour on my pinion gearbox bike, and I've never done a proper tour on a normal, old-fashioned bike. Sorry, don't be offended, it's a joke. But yeah, I wanted to do a proper tour on a bike with a chain, a derailleur, all that sort of thing. It's almost, to me, it feels like a rite of passage. I don't feel like a proper bike tourer because I haven't done it. And you've seen through this video, I don't know anything. It's also a good idea for me to learn about how these bikes work and everything. And this is the ideal route for doing that, because there's plenty of services along the way. And if I screw it up or I can't do something, I can get it fixed. Now, for all those that said use the pinion gearbox bike, I'm giving you full permission to put in the comments "I told you so" when you see me throwing this bike in a hedge, getting in a right strop, which is likely going to happen, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Like I say, it's a bit of a mishmash, really. But, yeah, I mean, obviously I've been busy getting everything ready, so it's all stuff I had to do anyway, and why not film it, eh? People might find it interesting. I know I do. I like to see how other people do stuff. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.